Far beyond the blue skies of Earth, in the cold silence of space, mighty beings watched from their glittering ships. They were not ordinary beings. They were gods of the universe, rulers of countless stars and planets. From their throne among the stars, they laughed at the tiny blue planet, calling it weak, small, and insignificant. On this planet lived a human unlike any other, a prototype sent by fate, a girl who carried the strength of all humanity in her mind and heart. Her hair shone like the sun at dawn, and her eyes reflected the mysteries of the universe. But to the gods, she was nothing, just a human, fragile and weak. The girl walked along the quiet surface of her world, feeling the pulse of life around her. She listened to the wind whispering through trees and the soft murmur of rivers. She had learned to understand the language of the earth, but she had something far greater hidden inside. High above, in the ships that glowed like burning stars, the gods prepared their tests. They spoke in harsh, thunderous voices, mocking Earth and its people. This small planet dares to exist among the stars? Such foolishness will not last, they said. The human girl felt a strange pull in her chest, a growing energy that she could not yet name. It was as if the universe itself was stirring in response to her presence. She did not yet know her own power, but it waited, ready to awaken at the right moment. The gods decided to send their strongest envoy to confront her. He was known as the Alien Priest, a being of immense power who had never been challenged. He carried a staff that shone with the light of dying suns, and his eyes could pierce the soul of any creature. When he arrived on Earth, the ground trembled beneath him. Mountains shook, rivers changed course, and the winds howled in warning. The humans of the world stared from afar, unaware of what was coming, sensing only a strange fear in the air. The priest looked down at the girl, his expression one of scorn and disbelief. "You are nothing but a weak human," he said, his voice echoing like thunder across valleys. "Your planet is tiny, your people fragile, and your life meaningless." The girl did not flinch. She stood tall, her heart calm and her mind focused. Inside her, a spark of something ancient and powerful began to glow, a secret long forgotten. The priest raised his staff, preparing to strike, confident in his victory. But the girl remained still, her lips moving silently as if speaking to the stars themselves. A strange energy began to swirl around her, glowing like the first light of creation. The gods above leaned closer, curious and skeptical. They had never seen a human display such calm in the face of their might. Their laughter faded into a tense silence. And then, the first word escaped her lips. It was not in English, not in any language known to the gods. It was a dead language, a voice from the time before stars, carrying a power the universe had almost forgotten. The priest felt his staff tremble in his hand. The air around him grew heavy, the energy pulsing from the girl stronger than anything he had ever known. He stepped back, his eyes wide with shock and fear. The gods gasped, their arrogance shaken for the first time in eons. How could a human, a small creature from a tiny planet, summon such power with mere words? The girl smiled slightly, her secret beginning to unfold. Far above, the stars seemed to listen. Something had awakened in the universe, and it was watching her. And for the first time, the gods realized that this human was not like the others. She was Earth's prototype, and she was about to change everything. The alien priest hovered above the earth, his staff glowing brighter than the sun. He could not believe what he had just heard. A human, a small creature from a forgotten planet, had spoken a language older than the stars. He looked down at the girl, his eyes narrowing in suspicion and fear. "This cannot be real," he whispered to himself. He had challenged thousands of civilizations, conquered countless worlds, but nothing had ever spoken to him like this. The gods above murmured among themselves, their voices low and tense. They had laughed at Earth only moments ago, but now uncertainty filled the void. "This human may be stronger than we thought," one of them said. And for the first time, they felt doubt, a feeling they had not known for eons. The girl stood calmly, her eyes shining like twin stars. She did not move, she did not falter. She only waited, feeling the energy inside her grow stronger with each heartbeat. The priest raised his staff high, and lightning crackled along its surface. He aimed it at her, ready to destroy this insignificant human. "You will kneel before me, human," he said, his voice echoing across mountains and oceans. "You will obey the gods, or your planet will burn." The girl tilted her head slightly, a small smile playing on her lips. "You underestimate Earth," she said, her voice soft but full of power. "You think we are weak, but you do not know our history, our strength, our will to survive." The priest laughed, a sound that shook the sky. "You? A human? You dare speak to me like this? I am the priest of the gods, and you will fail." He stepped forward, the ground cracking beneath his feet. The air around him burned with power, and even the oceans seemed to pull away in fear. But the girl did not flinch. She took a deep breath, feeling the energy of her planet flowing through her. It was as if the earth itself had chosen her to speak, to defend humanity. Suddenly, the priest lifted his staff, and a beam of light shot toward her. It was deadly, faster than any missile, hotter than any fire. The humans watching from afar could only see a bright flash in the sky, but none could understand what was happening. The girl raised her hand, and the energy around her pulsed like a heartbeat. The beam of light slowed, as if the universe itself had touched it. The priest gasped, stepping back, his staff shaking violently. He could not believe it. A human had stopped his power with nothing but will and words. The gods above watched silently, or replacing their laughter. They had never seen such defiance, such strength from a creature so small. "What is this power?" one god whispered. "Can a human truly possess this?" The girl spoke again, her words in the ancient language. The priest felt his mind twist. Memories he had never had began to surface. Secrets of the universe whispered to him, and he realized that everything he believed was wrong. He had underestimated humans, underestimated Earth, underestimated her. The sky darkened, and stars above seemed to shine brighter. Even the mountains and oceans responded, as if recognizing her power. The priest dropped his staff, the metal clanging loudly against the ground. Shock and fear filled his eyes, and he stepped back, unable to comprehend what was happening. The girl smiled, calm and confident. She did not shout, she did not need to fight. Her presence alone had changed everything. The universe had taken notice, and Earth's prototype had proven that even the smallest humans could defy the greatest gods. The challenge had begun, and it had already shaken the stars. The alien priest stared at the girl in disbelief. His staff lay on the ground, useless. The words she had spoken echoed in his mind, twisting and turning. He had faced countless civilizations, conquered planets, and bent stars to his will. But never, not once, had he seen anything like this. The energy around her pulsed and shimmered. It was alive, almost as if the planet itself had awakened to protect her. The priest's eyes widened, his arrogance slowly turning into fear. "How can this be?" he whispered, almost too quiet for the gods to hear. "A human, a mere human, defies me." Above them, the gods held their breath. Their laughter had long faded, replaced by awe and concern. They had expected a weak human, easily crushed, easily dismissed. But now, the impossible was unfolding before their eyes. Something had awakened in this small planet, in this girl, that they could not control. The girl took a step forward, calm and steady. Her voice spoke again, this time louder, stronger. The ancient language rolled from her lips. It was a language of power, of creation, of life itself. The priest could feel it in his mind, like waves crashing on a rocky shore. Memories of the universe long forgotten surfaced inside him. He remembered things he should not have known, secrets of creation and destruction. And all of it traced back to Earth, to her. Lightning crackled around the priest, his staff trying to respond to his command. But it was useless. Her words held more power than any weapon he had ever commanded. The ground shook, mountains trembled, and even the oceans seemed to pause. Every creature on Earth felt the hum of energy that surrounded her. And the priest knew, he was no longer the strongest in this moment. The gods above leaned closer, watching in disbelief. "This is impossible," one of them said. "How can a human, so small and fragile, wield such power?" Another god added, "We underestimated her. We underestimated her species." The stars themselves seemed to shimmer in response. The universe was taking note of Earth, of humans, of this girl. The priest fell to his knees, still trying to understand what he had just witnessed. His mind was spinning with impossible knowledge. He remembered civilizations that had risen and fallen, but none had ever challenged him in this way. And now, this one human had shattered everything he believed. The girl raised her hand, and a soft glow spread from her fingertips. It was not a weapon, not an attack. It was a declaration, a statement of humanity's strength. "You cannot dismiss us," she said, her voice calm. "You cannot erase us. You may be gods, but we are survivors, we are fighters, we are creators." The priest tried to speak, but no words came out. His staff trembled, and the energy around him flickered. For the first time, he felt doubt, fear, and humility. He had always believed in his power, in his control, in the rules of the universe. But now, everything had changed. The girl smiled faintly, knowing that the impossible had already happened. Earth had proven its worth, not with weapons, not with armies, but with courage, intelligence, and an unbroken spirit. The priest had fallen, not by force, but by the strength of humanity itself. And far above, the gods realized the truth. Humans were not weak. Humans were not insignificant. Humans were extraordinary. And this girl was only the beginning. The impossible had become real. And the universe would never be the same again. The stars above seemed to shine brighter as the girl stood on Earth. The universe itself felt alive, trembling at the power she now displayed. The alien priest knelt before her, still in shock, still trying to understand what had just happened. He had been strong, feared, and worshipped by countless civilizations. Yet a human had shaken him to his core. The gods watched silently, their arrogance replaced by awe. They had thought Earth was weak, its people unworthy. But now they realized that humanity was unlike anything they had ever encountered. Humans were clever, fearless, and unstoppable when they were driven by courage and purpose. The girl spoke again, her voice echoing through mountains, oceans, and deserts. This time, her words were not only ancient, they carried a hidden power. A knowledge older than the stars themselves, a secret that humanity had carried in silence. The priest shivered, as memories of long-lost civilizations and forgotten battles flooded his mind. He saw the rise and fall of empires, the creation of worlds, and the silent strength of humanity at every turn. The energy surrounding her spread further, glowing like the first light of creation. The ground beneath the priest's knees trembled, and the sky above roared in response. Even the gods, who had ruled the universe for eons, felt the weight of her presence. "This is impossible," whispered one god. "They are humans? But how can one of them carry such power?" The girl smiled faintly, her eyes reflecting both calm and pride. She did not boast, she did not shout. Her strength spoke for itself, and the universe listened. "Earth is not weak," she said simply. "Our people are not small or fragile. We are survivors, creators, and dreamers. And we will never be ignored again." The priest slowly raised his head, staring at her in disbelief. He had once believed that gods alone decided the fate of worlds. But now he understood that power came in many forms, and courage, intelligence, and determination could challenge even the mightiest. The gods murmured among themselves, uncertain and humbled. They had underestimated humans. They had dismissed them as insignificant. And now they could see that humanity's potential was limitless. A single human had changed the balance of power in the galaxy. The girl raised her hands, and a soft glow spread across Earth. It was not a weapon or a threat. It was a message, a revelation to every being who watched from the stars. Humanity had awakened, and their spirit was stronger than any force in the universe. The priest fell silent, no longer a threat, no longer arrogant. He had learned humility and awe in the presence of a human. The girl's words had not only defeated him, they had revealed the truth about humanity itself. Humans were not meant to be controlled, underestimated, or dismissed. They were meant to rise, to create, and to challenge the impossible. The gods looked at one another, unsure of what to say. For the first time, they had been humbled by a human. The universe itself seemed to acknowledge this change. Stars flickered, planets shifted slightly, and comets streaked across the sky as if celebrating. And the girl, Earth's prototype, stood quietly. She had proven the impossible. She had revealed the strength of humanity. And the galaxy would never forget the day a single human had defied the gods. Her voice echoed one last time as a soft, powerful whisper. Never doubt Earth. Never doubt us. We are here to stay. The alien priest knelt on the cracked ground, his staff useless at his side. His mind raced with disbelief and awe. He had faced countless challenges, conquered civilizations, and wielded powers beyond imagination. But nothing had ever prepared him for this, a human standing before him, calm, strong, and unstoppable. The girl raised her head, her eyes reflecting the infinite sky. The stars seemed to bend toward her, the winds whispered her name, and the oceans hummed with quiet energy. She had proven that humans were not weak, not small, not insignificant. They were survivors, innovators, and warriors of the spirit. And she, Earth's prototype, had shown the galaxy that humanity could rise above any obstacle. The gods above remained silent, watching in awe and disbelief. They had underestimated Earth for centuries. They had believed humans were fragile, easily dismissed. But now, their arrogance had been shattered, and the universe itself seemed to nod in agreement. The priest finally lifted his eyes, meeting hers. He could see the truth in her gaze. Humans were different, unique, and powerful in ways he had never imagined. He lowered his head in respect, not as a servant, but as one who finally understood. The girl had not only defeated him, she had changed his understanding of the universe. With a single gesture, she raised her hand, and a wave of energy spread across the land. Mountains glowed with life, rivers sparkled like liquid silver, and the skies shimmered with cosmic light. Every being, on Earth and beyond, felt the power of her message. The priest stepped back, overwhelmed. He could do nothing but watch as the impossible became real. Far above, the gods whispered among themselves. Their voices were hushed, filled with respect and a new understanding. Humans were no longer just a small, primitive species. They were something extraordinary, something worthy of attention, caution, and perhaps admiration. The girl looked out toward the stars. Her heart beat with pride and quiet determination. Earth had survived countless challenges, and humans had always adapted. Now, they had shown the galaxy that they could stand against gods themselves. The impossible was no longer a dream, it was a reality. The priest slowly rose to his feet, his pride humbled. He stepped back, allowing her space. The gods above began to retreat, not in defeat, but in cautious respect. They had witnessed a human's courage and power, and they knew that Earth would never be ignored again. The girl lowered her hand, the glow fading but not disappearing. It lingered in the air like a promise, a warning, and a hope. Her voice, calm but strong, spoke to the empty skies. Earth is here. Humanity is here. And we will rise. Her words echoed across the universe, reaching distant worlds and faraway stars. The priest picked up his staff, no longer a weapon, but a reminder. He looked at the girl one last time, awe and respect in his eyes. And he knew that humans were not to be underestimated. The galaxy had changed forever, and Earth's prototype had become a symbol of humanity's triumph. The girl smiled softly, her mission clear. She had proven the impossible. She had defied the gods. And humanity's story was just beginning. The stars shimmered in response. The universe had witnessed Earth's rise. And for the first time, humans were truly seen.